So you board in. Played about 5 minutes of Star Citizen. If you're anything like the people I know, you couldn't find your ship or you found it and immediately wrecked it. If you can't find the ship, that's on you. Every station in this game is ergonomically designed. There are signs goddamn everywhere. Find the space station, find the terminals. Terminals tell you what you got, how it is, where it is, so let's call it in. My name's Gal, and this is the basics of how to fly in Star Citizen. Have a good look at your ship. All the way around, relish the detail. You spend a lot of big boy bucks on this thing. Now there are a few flight methods, but I'm only going to teach you keyboard and mouse. Why is that? Because that's what's 90% of what people are going to be playing on. So find the wheel and sit down. Hold F if you want to have a look around. You'll see the ship's controls. That's cool. You can click them manually if you like, if you fancy a roleplay. But if you aspire to be able to fly any ship competently, learn the keyboard shortcuts. Hitting R is the flight ready shortcut. Press it and you're ready to go. But smart boys and girls will learn to do it manually. Tap U for power, I for engines. Sit in the seat and press U at least 5 times. It sounds ridiculous, but it's going to stop you looking for the key every time you sit down. Ship power is like a car's ignition half turned. It gives you lights, radio, but you're not going anywhere until you put it in gear. Turn the engine on with I. Have a good look at the interface. On the left you've got the accelerator. You can move the maximum speed up and down with your mouse wheel, but for now bring it down to the red line. Nowadays you start inside a hangar, which doesn't make learning easy. So follow these steps to get out and I'll explain what they mean later. Hit F11 and go to friends. Comm the station. Make sure you've got a good idea of where the doors are. They can be above or in front. Tap space to get some height. Depending on where the doors are, keep tapping space to go higher, or start tapping W to go forward. Congrats, you're out of the hangar. But Monkey saw and Monkey did doesn't mean Monkey knows what the hell's going on. What you're going to do is keep using space and W to give yourself a bit of distance from the hangar gates and the ground. Get nice and high. If you crash into a player or the gates, you'll pick up some bad boy points. Too many of those and you're going to find yourself trying not to drop the space soap in the space showers. So let's make some distance. Now that you're up, stop pressing buttons. Center your mouse so you're not spinning. Before we begin, there are a few important HUD elements to learn. The accelerator on the left controls the maximum speed in all directions. You want up fast, reverse fast, forward fast. Crank that thing up. Keep it in the red for now though. W is forward thrust, S is reverse. Make that happen. I'm not kidding. Reverse 100 meters, forwards 100 meters. You'll be pressing these buttons a lot. This is your main engine. Everything else is done with maneuvering thrusters. Try A and D. They make you strafe left and right respectively. Good for moving without having to change your heading. Now you should have already learnt that space is up, but have you met his cool brother Control? He's down. Lastly hit Q and E. Congrats, you're barrel rolling. Peppy would be proud. Don't touch the mouse just yet. Fiddle around with these keys a bit. You will look ridiculous, but you're practicing how the ship moves. And most importantly, you're learning how your axis changes as you roll or strafe. Roll enough and up is now down, or left. Don't let this throw you. Takes a bit of getting used to. If you're really struggling, try to stop looking at the horizon and focus on your HUD instead. Remember, there's no right way up anymore. The enemy's gate is down. Only in highly specific circumstances do you need to worry about orientation. Now that you've had a bit of practice with the keys, it's time to give the mouse a go. I recommend you bring your mouse sensitivity down in the settings. It's highly customizable, but you're not there yet, so just bring the general sensitivity right down. Now without pressing any keys, give the mouse a push. Any direction, and then try and realign. And then again. The mouse movements orchestrate your maneuvering thrusters, pointing you where you want to go. I mean, of course, right? But here's the catch. Spaceships weigh a ton, or tons, or hundreds of tons. You might want to change direction, but your ship has about as much say as you do in that. Lucky your ship's not an asshole. Use the crosshair in the center of the screen to choose your direction, but understand that this other reticle is telling you which way the ship is actually traveling. Combine pressing W with A or D. You'll see the guide slide away from the crosshair. If there's a rock in this reticle, you and the rock are going to become close friends. Inertia is going to be your biggest hurdle to overcome. Once you've nailed understanding the drag of the ship, which is different for every ship, you're moving on to being an advanced pilot. Now I haven't got time to walk you through Newton's laws of motion, but the effect inertia has on your ship is going to grow the faster you travel. See the red line? You can push your ship way beyond this point. But from a practical standpoint, the red line represents the top speed at which you can travel without having to compensate for inertia. So make sure you've got plenty of room, crank it up, and give it a go. You'll see pretty quick that piloting is a bit more like ice skating. your ship can turn west on a dime, but you're still going north at a few hundred clicks a minute. This is where the booster comes in. Play any game in any genre and you probably know that shift makes you go faster. It's the same here, but that's a trap that's best avoided through education. What shift actually does is overclock all active engines, main or maneuvering. So while you can use thrust to pick up speed, it's actually best to use it when changing course at speed. Turn and thrust. You'll see that little reticle lining up with your crosshair a lot faster. In a pinch, X is space brake. Sort of the same as using the thruster, but if you're slamming down X to avoid a crash, it's probably just better to relax and let Jesus take the wheel. Try all these buttons in different combinations. If you're really eager, head up into space. Slightly different up here. No atmosphere slowing you down means more speed, means more inertia. No gravity means the same acceleration regardless of direction. Note that a lot of moons don't have an atmosphere, means flying around them is very similar to flying in space, so if you're coming in hot, don't expect any air pockets to be slowing you down. Alright, so you're feeling good. You've done a few laps of the car park, now it's time to take your first trip to Space McDonald's. Bad news though, going quantum isn't anywhere near as exciting as it sounds. It's actually just paperwork, so I'm going to get through it quick. There are two ways to get to interesting places. Press B and pick a destination. Alternatively, you can press F2. On this interface, I recommend you zoom all the way out. Use the mouse wheel, or click and hold the mouse wheel and pull down. Left click to rotate, right click to move. Select a planet, or a station, or a moon. Double click on it to zoom. If you can't see the landing points, make sure you've clicked on the planet. The dotted green line will be your proposed path. Set route to confirm. If you change your mind, you can clear the route. Top left tells you how much quantum fuel you have, and what's required for the jump. After you've set a path, you might have a list of sequential jumps. Clicking the reticle dot will zoom in on you. Once you've picked a nearby destination, or set the route with the menu, use the green marker on your radar to line it up. Now hit B. Two things will happen. Spooling is the engine warming up. Calibrating is the route being plotted. If you're not looking at the destination, you can spool but not calibrate. Once they're done, hold B. And now chill out. Absorb the fine details of your ship. Watch some YouTube. You can get better quantum engines that will make this process go faster, but it also usually takes a few jumps to get where you're going. Landing might seem daunting, but it's really just taking off in reverse. Get close to your station, press F11, friends, ping them. If you're not feeling confident, you can bring your max speed way down, as low as you want. Press N to lower the landing gear, approach slowly, line yourself up using the lights provided, and use control to descend slowly. If you're feeling lazy, line yourself up above the pad and hold N to use auto land. Though that's not a habit you should get into. The time you're most likely to crash in Star Citizen is when you're taking off or landing. So practice. Take off, fly around, land, repeat. If you're having trouble flying, or your ship isn't responding the way you think it should, here are the buttons you accidentally pressed. Z toggles free look, lets go of the controls so that you can look around. Fun, but not super useful. C toggles cruise control, which will have your ship always travel at the max selected speed. Sounds handy, but don't use it until you've mastered the basics. God help you if you pressed V. Decoupling isn't something I'm going to cover in this video, but if you see this little symbol on your screen, press V to make them go away. Once you've landed, you can hang out on a cool new world, waste some fools, tool around in a moon buggy, repair and refuel most of the time, and that's that. Good job. You're a space person. If you're not good at it straight away, or even after a few sessions, good. It's called a learning curve. It takes practice to get better, and at the start, you're going to be bad. You're going to bump into someone, smear yourself across the surface of a moon, spin out a lot. You'll learn. Be patient. Start slow. Practice. And just get out there. Don't let being an average pilot stop you from having fun. This game is about a lot more than just piloting, but if you can at least get yourself from A to B, you're on top of things. The advanced guide's on the way. I'll see you in the next one.